In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the Mifare Ultralight C tags using OMNIKEY 5421. So I'll be covering the following things. So I'm going to show you how to read and write to an Ultralight C tag, and I'm going to show you what are the various commands that are exchanged between the reader and the tag, or the reader and the software, and also give a few tips for the software developers. So, and you have to refer to the OMNIKEY software developers guide, which is available from internet. And so I've already done an extensive coverage of Ultralight C tags using ACR122U. Probably now I will most of the things is covered there. Probably I will might tell you to see those videos if you want more information. And very recently I made this learning software available to buy from eBay, and probably if you're interested you can buy from there. So if you go to this HRD website, you can see that the OMNIKEY 5421 is already been discontinued, and the next version is 5422, and I didn't get any chance to play with the 5422. But if you look at the features, overall looks like there's no much difference between this and the previous version. So it's also a kind of a good news for the users, because when 5421 is phased out, you might start getting them for a cheaper price. And if you are buying this for to learn RFID tags, then it's a good news for you. If you go to eBay and you can look for the learn Mifare, learn RFID memory section commands using Mifare, OMNIKEY 5421 software only, and you can buy from here. So you can see here I've connected my OMNIKEY 5421 device to my PC. And the software version I'm using here is version 1.2. The first thing you do is click on the show readers, and you know that this particular device has got two interfaces. One is the contact interface on the top, and the other one is the contactless interface. So I'm going to choose contactless, and you have to choose what type of tag. At present you've got only these 4 tags, and more tags will be added, and you will find that tag name here. So I'm going to choose the Ultralight C, and this screen is exactly same as what I have done in ACR122U, and in fact the only difference between this and ACR122U is the business logic. So everything is the same, and it's for that reason I would advise you to go and look at ACR122 videos. I have spent more time explaining everything in detail. So I got a brand new Mifare Ultralight C tag. So first thing you do is you activate the tag. Now just like other screens, you got various sections here. You got the command section, you got the user data section, you have the logs related section, and the config and the password section, and it's a bulk read and write section. Okay, now in the command section is where you see the various commands that are exchanged between the software and the reader, and this is what every developer would be interested to know. So if you're a developer, or if you're a student who would like to learn about these commands, and this is the best place to look at. Now let me go through using this tag as it is. First thing is you're going to read the entire tag. So this reads every pages from the Ultralight tag and shows on the screen. And Ultralight tag has got it's very similar. The first 15 pages are similar to the Ultralight tag. It has got more memory, plus it has got the 3DS authentication case. So this is a very secure tag, and it's also easy as well. So if you look at here, the lock section, you can see it has got the static locking, and because it has got more user memory and more pages here, so you got some additional bits for locking, and this is called as the dynamic page locking. And again, I've covered every bit of this in detail in my other videos. Probably now just quickly show you where those videos are. So I have got one playlist called ACR122 You Made Easy, and if you scroll down, some of the latest videos are on Mifare Ultralight C tag introduction, as well as how to use the counters and the dynamic locks. And also I got one more playlist which is called as the Mifare Ultralight C tags. Here I have explained some of the information from the document itself. So I would advise you to go through these videos, and as I mentioned before, the screens are exactly the same. It's just the same screen. And here in this tab you can configure the Ultralight C. This is a very secure tag. You can configure the tag to allow the read or both read and write only after the password authentication, which I'm going to show you. So the first thing you like to do is write some information, and probably when you buy the new tag, this already has got some data written here. This could be the default NDEF record, or it could be something, some random data, I would say. So first, to write, to change the page content, you select the page and the corresponding page content is displayed here. So I can write called ABCD, and after that you click on the write. So you can see that every time there is an activity, so there is a blue light here, and it probably you'll see a green flashing light. So when you see that, that means the write is successful. The same time, when you go back to the commands tab, you can see what command has been sent from the software to the reader writer, and these commands are exactly the same commands used in ACR122 as well. If you want to change something in a bulb, you're going to use this section here. Say I would like to store, say, capital A, capital B, C and D. I like to store this from pages 4 to 39, and you should keep in mind this has got more pages, and the last page number where you can write the user data is 39. Okay, so comparing this with the Ultralight has got only the page number up to 15, and these are called as extended pages. So you can just hit this button, you can see that. So all these things A, B, C, D is all written over here. Now the other thing is the OTP. This is the one-time programming logic. So this is used for the ticketing purpose, and this is very similar to my videos on Ultralight. If you want to make a change to the OTP, so you would go and put a tick here and give a write, and that writes the OTP values here. The OTP is present in page number 4 or the number 03, because the page number starts with 0. The next thing is about the counter, and this has got a 16 bit counter. So the way you use counter is you can write whatever you want the very first time using the write method here, and keep in mind this is a 16 bit value. So even though there are 4 bytes here, only the first lower 2 bytes are used. So I would like to initialize the counter to 10,000 and say write. Now this is initialized to 10,000, and there is no special command to write the counters. It's just a a simple write command. However, there are a couple of some interesting things here which I'm going to speak very soon. And after that, you got the static logs. So I can, once you have finished writing the data, so you can lock it. So assume that I have written my data before you give this to the customer, or before the user start using the tag. You would like to lock certain pages, and which you can do. This is very similar to the Ultralight tags. So if you want to lock page 4 and 5, you go to the page 4 and 5 and write, and this writes. So as soon as the data is written, the software shows these 2 bytes are locked. And so once you're locked, you cannot undo the lock as well. Now the next most important feature is this is the reason why Ultralight is very popular, is the password protection. So each tag has got a 16-byte password, and the authentication uses the 3DS method, and by default a brand new tag has a default password which is shown here, so which is the first 8 bytes and the second 8 bytes. So you can authenticate. If you hit here, it authenticates, and I'm showing the value of the keys here, but keep in mind you can never ever read the value of this password from the tag. So that's one of the reason these tags are very secure. So I'm going to close and start all over again. So activate it, and you can see here, so because you cannot read, so I've shown the keys as a zeros. So the password will be useful only when you configure the tag to use the password. At present, if you look at the configuration, so this has got 2 configuration pages. One is called auth0 and the next is auth1, which are in page number 42 and 43. The auth0 is what you see here. So there's only one piece of information in auth0. So it says, so you're going to set from what page number onwards you want the password protection. So here it is set to 48, and this is the default value. If you look at the number of pages here, so there are only 47 pages. By setting the value to 48, this is same as saying none of the page is password protected. So I'm going to set this as to say page number 34 onwards. So I'm going to say 34. So assume that I have written my own the software specific or the card specific data from 34 page onwards. I don't want anybody to read without first authentication. So you can also, when you do this setting, you can also decide whether you want read and write, or both, or just the write only. So I'm going to set the write only. So it's always advisable to do this setting before the auth0. So first I'm going to say, and keep in mind this was 48. So I'm going to say I want to protect the write operation. So set this to 1. It has got 2 values here, 0 and 1, and say write. Now something has changed. You can see the value of config 1 is changed. Then I'm going to set this as a page number 34 and write. So here it's a software that's showing from page number 34 onwards everything is protected. So you cannot write without first password authentication. So I'm going to try again. So take this tag out and put it in and activate. Read the tag. Now I'm going to write to this page here. So let's see what's going to happen. I'm going to click page 34 and set this as A, B, C, D. So we are trying to write to a protected page. When you write, So before that, I would like to clear these commands. So right, so here this is just the information software is giving. So I'm going to turn off the safe mode, and now when you say write, it says the write failed. Okay, now what's happening here, you can see that the write operation failed with the 6581 code. So that shows you cannot write to a protected page. So the only way to do this is you have to first authenticate the tag. So I'm going to reactivate and read. I'm going to first authenticate. We still haven't changed the password. I'm going to authenticate. Now everything authenticated. Now I'm going to go to page number 34 and change the value to ABCD. So and say write. Now the write is successful, and to prove that, I'm going to close this window, go to reactivate and read the entire tag. So if you go to page number 34, you can see that the data is written. So that is how the password protection works. So let's go and change the keys. Okay, so I want the key to be something different. So I want to change the key, but we have to authenticate the tag first, because the keys are stored in page number 44 to 47, and all pages from 34 onwards are write protected. So I have to first authenticate, and I can also go take this further. Probably I can disable this password protection altogether. So I'm going to set this as 48 and say write. Now the entire password is disabled. If you try again, so when the password is disabled, so none of the page is protected. You can change the password any number of times without authentication. So I'm going to change the password here to A1 to A7 and A8 to this, and I'm going to hit write. So this has changed the password, and I've explained all these things in detail in my other videos, but just a quick overview here. Now the password is from A0 to A7. So look at the way it is stored in the tag. So if you consider this as a 8-byte number, and this is the higher byte and this is the lower byte, so the lower byte is stored first from 44 and goes up to the higher byte. Same thing applies for key 2. So you just have to keep in mind the way it's stored. Now I've changed the password. So what I'm doing now is exactly what I end up doing when you integrate this into your software. The very first thing you do is change the password. We did it. Then I'm going to authenticate. Then I'm going to protect. Probably this time I'm going to protect everything from page number 4 onwards, and before that, so it was 48. So I'm going to protect both read as well as write. So nobody can read from page number 4 onwards. But however, I have not done this this page setting now, but I would like to do this auth1 setting first. So read and write. So this is read and write. Then I'm going to set the page number 4, right? Now if you look at that, the software shows everything from page number 4 onwards is read and write protected. Now let's see how this is going to work. So if you close this and try again, activate. Now try to read. Now the read has failed just after page number 3. So page number 4 onwards is write protected. Probably you'll also say the error messages here. Now if you look at that, if you look at the read command here, this is all success, but reading from 4 onwards it's an error. So if you look at in internet, look for ISO 7816, you'll come to know what is 64 and 00 status is. Now the only way to come out of this is, first I have to authenticate, and let's do that. So I'm going to reactivate, and if I click authenticate, the authentication failed as well, because when you start the software, what you see here is the default keys. However, we know that the key has been modified to this and that. Okay, now what you would generally do is, if you know this tag is password protected, when you first come to this screen, you activate it. Then before you hit the read tag, you'll go to the password section and you're going to put the right password and give the authenticate. The authentication successful. So here what the software is doing is it just creates the dummy pages from 44, 45, 46, 47 and populate this with the key. And now if I hit the read tag, the read is successful. So this is how the authentication works. And the next thing is all about the locking, because this has got more memory. All additional locking can be done using the dynamic lock bits. So if I want to lock, say for example, page number 36 onwards, so I do not want anyone to modify page 36 to 39. So here one single bit locks 4 pages. If you compare this with the static locking, the static lock, one bit locks just one page. So this is how the dynamic lock works. If you know this concept of dynamic locking, most of these tags on NXP, they have the same concept. So you can lock the counter. So if you want to lock the counter, this is this bit to lock the counter, and you can also lock somebody changing the configuration itself. So this is what you end up doing, what is called as the read-only tags. So if you want to make this tag read-only, after you finish writing the data you want on the tag, you will end up setting everything. So all these lock bits, whether static locks or dynamic locks, or probably in all your OTPs here, everything is tagged. All your locks will be set as well, all the log bits. And this is what most of the software that create NDEF or NFC tags to make the tag as read-only. So you can do that. So I'm not going to do here. So the dynamic locking again. So I've also there's a concept called block lock as well. So by taking this block lock, you are avoiding any of the locking. So for example, if I take this BL 28 to 39, which is from 28 to 39 here, and tick here, so nobody can change the lock status of the page 28 to 39. So this is like this lock bit controls the locking of these 3 bits also. Now I just forgot to mention something about the counter. Now I showed you how to initialize a counter. So we went to the counter page and we added enter number 1000. So after the first initialization, all subsequent write operation must be between 0 to 15. So in other words, you can increment the counter. So you can't increment the counter with the value more than 15. So if I want to if say 4, which is going to clear here. So right, you can see the counter has become 10,004. So you can write it 15 is a maximum value. You can't go beyond that, right? You can do that. You can anytime you can increase the counter by 0. So this has got no effect. And also I've explained everything, what happens when you enter more than 15. So it takes only the last nibble of the data. And that's what you got here. The next video I'm going to speak more about how the various commands works, what is this init generic sessions, all the stuff I'm going to explain in the next video.